until Taft. They're all surly mustached or bearded men. No mustaches or beards since Taft. None. Come on.
Civil War. Hello and welcome to the WIP, the What If podcast. That's a work in progress. I don't think I've ever mentioned this before, but I am your host, the Slim James. I am joined in studio today by my man, Andrew the Giant.
Hello.
We are the only podcast that dares to ask, what if the X-Men were Mexican? They'd be Mex-Men. Or the X-Mexicans. Or possibly the Mex-Mexicans. Our subject for today is the X-Men, if you hadn't guessed by the intro joke. A little history to start off. X-Men first started in 1963 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. As superheroes were prone to be in those days, your original X-Men, Cyclops, who leads, Beast, I suppose, does machines, Jean Grey fills the role of woman, Iceman is the young party dude, and Angel is also there. But he is neither cool nor rude, so...
Give me a break.
Exactly, give me a break. The original X-Men weren't actually all that successful, as they went into reprints for about 2 years, which is mind-blowing considering how much X stuff there is now. But they returned from the abyss of reprintdom with giant-size X-Men #1 and a brand new lineup. And we're off and running. The rest, as they say, is history, including about 1 jillion spin-offs: X-Factor, X-Force, Generation X, Mutant X, X-Men Blue and X-Men Gold, Excalibur, bajillion solo series, Cable, Deadpool, Wolverine, everybody. So much X. The X-Men are mutants, persecuted, and they seem to be more persecuted than other superpowered beings on Earth, which is always weird. Does that make Captain America an Uncle Tom?
Well, he's not technically a mutant.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. Is like you have superpowered guys, and like, all right, well, you're kind of destroying stuff. Like Spider-Man, he gets crapped on all the time. You're a menace, but you know they see a mutant, like burn them.
Because they were, they were born that way,
as Lady Gaga would say.
right?
Yeah, Lady
so it
Gaga.
Seems like people would have more tolerance towards them because they didn't have a choice.
Exactly.
Captain America, well, Spider-Man didn't.
Yeah,
do that
he
on
chose
purpose.
it. Well, he's a nerd because he went to that radiation exhibit.
But
You're 16.
people don't know that.
But anyway, yeah, Lady Gaga. She could play the Dazzler in the X-Men movies because she's a mutant. My first exposure to the X-Men was probably, comic books, obviously, because I love all comic books. Well, at least all Marvel comic books. But the cartoon was a big part of my childhood. The early 90s cartoon. It was on last on the Saturday Fox Kids lineup at 11:30.
I never really collected comic books when I was younger. I had a few here and there when I would just harass my mother to buy me a comic book at the grocery store or something. But nothing. I never collected them, but it was really just the cartoon for me as well.
Yeah, so you had Cyclops previously on X-Men. And they had Morph with his terrible Morph voice, like, nah. And
very good impression.
Yes. Well, he showed up in the first episode to be the guy that gets killed, although he comes back later to, hey guys, I'm a metaphor and stuff. I got killed and you should feel bad. And then, of course, Storm with her claustrophobia.
And passing out all the time.
Yeah, I thought of a cardboard box. Oh!
But she never... Whenever she overexerts herself and passes out, it's never when she's on the ground.
No, it has to be flying.
She never...
Although...
She doesn't learn.
It's really weird because it seems she doesn't fly. She floats on wind, but nobody else seems to unless they want to. Like, nobody ever has to, like, oh, and gets blown over by her wind gust that she's riding unless they want to fly. What? And then... Wolverine, when Storm passes out, Storm catches her.
Well, because he's not ever fighting. When she goes up in the air, he knows he needs to keep an eye on her.
Exactly. But it's weird because Wolverine's always pining about Jean Grey, Jeannie, in many alternate realities and future stories and stuff. Wolverine ends up with Storm, so he should stop fighting it and just get that sweet brown sauce.
Where's Forge during all this? How does he feel about this?
What, Forge likes Storm too?
Yeah.
But Storm's married to Black Panther sometimes.
Sometimes.
But
Forge and Storm had a thing.
well, it's weird. Forge, Wolverine, Metal Bones,
Oh.
Foundry. They could form a tag team known as the Foundry.
Storm has a thing for metal bones.
Exactly. Yeah, he's got a metal leg. Forge does. So, yeah. Watch out, Cable. Who's your favorite X-Man?
I enjoy Gambit. Gambit and Nightcrawler are definitely my two favorites.
How do you feel about Gambit's ponytail? Because it's always tucked behind. You never see it, and then it pops out, and you're like, oh yeah, you're dirty.
He's always got that
Cowl?
thing on his head.
Yeah, his weird cowl that has the hair, but has a band across his forehead
And
so that he can hold the back of his ponytail in.
frames his face
Yeah.
nicely, right down the sides.
Where did he pick that up? Because like he's supposed to be a street rat,
Yes.
and he just has this ridiculous
It's custom.
magenta and blue outfit with his
He won
purple.
it in a poker game from some burlesque dancer or something in New Orleans.
Mine's Nightcrawler, I guess. I mean, I'm not super huge.
Yes.
Well, I'm not super
Something.
huge X-Man guy. I'm always, about my man Spintermensch. But
Everybody knows. Spintermensch.
yeah, German Spider-Man. But I dressed up as Nightcrawler for Halloween once, although I got scared after like 4 houses and had to go home. My mom was pissed. And Nightcrawler's pretty good in the arcade game, the purple
Yes.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's his superpower. His special ability
Is purpling.
He just purples all over the place.
Yeah, it's weird because like I never knew what Nightcrawler's actual mutant power was until like a few years after, because I play that game and he just runs around being purple at stuff and taking out robots. He's not teleporting anywhere. You can see him the entire time. He's just
It's
purpling.
really fast.
Yeah. But yeah, I like Nightcrawler. Although I don't think my Nightcrawler outfit had a tail.
Well, it was tucked in.
Yeah.
I don't know people yanking on it.
Yeah, I guess you can understand why people want to burn Nightcrawler because he looks weird.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's-
dirty muty.
Obviously different. There's rumors of a Gambit movie, possibly starring Channing Tatum as Gambit. The director has said that he would like to have Channing Tatum in the movie. So there's that, which I would be up for a Gambit movie.
I don't. Go solo Gambit stuff's always kind of. I'm dirty and stuff.
They need to redeem themselves for Wolverine.
Yeah. Well, that brings us into our next point: the X-Men movies. The first 2 are okay. Third, horrible. And actually, the Wolverine Origins movie or whatever, and the third one have a lot in common in that they just sort of pushed some mutants onto the screen as quick as they could, and so you have guys showing up for like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Blob.
like William.
Yeah, Gambit. Juggernaut in X-Men 3 like pissed me off because like Juggernaut should be like a big deal, and he's there, and he's just like some other guy.
The Juggernaut bitch.
Yeah,
And that's it.
yeah, and quickly gone.
Although the opening scene of X-Men 2 with Nightcrawler going in the White House was pretty badass.
Yeah,
And
well,
I was very excited at the opening scene, and then it slowly went downhill from there.
yeah, like the first 2 are like
But
okay.
they're not terrible movies.
No, but you need a filter to see past like some of the awful character designs where they're all just wearing leather jackets and
Yeah,
just sort of being lame, and then it gets like downright ugly and
and Toad is too good looking. Toad is not as grotesque as he,
Boing, boing,
as he
boing.
should be.
yeah, also dirty muty. But yeah, so you need to like see past some of these like crummy character designs and you appreciate what you're getting for a story. And like I said, the first couple, not bad. Third, mess. Wolverine Origins, mess. Wolverine regular or the Wolverine or whatever, not bad, but a little bland.
Yeah.
Days of Futures Past. Thoughts?
I'm kind of excited for this one because we seem to be throwing everybody into it.
Yeah.
Future and past Magnetos and Professor X's and Halle Berry as Storm and all of the people from the previous X-Mans are in there. But it's hard to tell. It also seems like they might be trying to overcompensate by just throwing in everybody, so you won't pay attention to the terrible story.
Yes. It could suffer from what I was talking about with the third movie and like it's a mass. Just hey, here's a bunch of characters. Mutants.
Well, who owns the rights to X-Men? It's not.
It's Fox.
Yeah, so it's not the same as the Avengers and.
It certainly isn't.
Well, it's not. It's owned by two. It's all Marvel, but it's run by two separate entities.
Yeah.
So they need to give it back.
They should give it back.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's what everybody says about like all Marvel characters. They say the Marvel Studios should just make all of them, but like then they probably have the law of diminishing return. They do seem to have a good a grasp on sort of sticking a little bit closer to the comic books while sort of modifying some stuff.
The Spider-Man ones are going to be. I think they're going to be trying to do like the Avengers model, where they're going to do. They've already released the date for the Amazing Spider-Man 3, so this director is going to get his trilogy, and then they said that they're going to release a Spider-Man movie every year. Not necessarily a Spider-Man movie, but Venom and the Sinister Six were the other two movies that they were talking about.
Yeah, well, they're gonna need to like bust out some Clone Saga just to make more Spider-Mans.
Yeah, but the fact that you can't have Spider-Man with the Avengers kind of bums me out, just because these two different studios.
Well, Spider-Man, to me, in my eyes, he shouldn't be a team player. He should just be like, I'm angsty and stuff. My life sucks because I'm Spider-Man. Now, that said, I think that it wouldn't hurt anybody if Spider-Man made a cameo in the Avengers movie.
Yeah,
because
but a cameo would piss people off.
No, because he's like, hey guys, I'm Spider-Man. See ya,
Exactly.
It'd be fun.
No, I don't think so.
But the Days of Futures Past should, it'll be like actual comic books because the X-Men timelines will get all messed up and confusing, and dead characters won't stay dead. And lots of time travel, and you won't know what's going on, just like, it gets to be in the actual comic books. We do know it's the future, because Wolverine has gray temples.
Yes.
That's your clear indication that time has passed. Wolverine gets gray.
Obviously, they'll use young Magneto and old Magneto to tell the difference between that, but if it's just Wolverine, he was there in the past and in the future.
Something's changed, Marty.
Oh. So yeah, the gray hair is the giveaway. That's how you can tell by if it's just Wolverine on screen.
Yeah, of course Wolverine's been alive since the Civil War or whatever, so he ages like
well before the Civil War.
Yeah, okay. So he's like 250 years old. Yeah. But it's the future, so he's got gray temples.
How far in the future does that take place?
Well, the X-Men movies themselves take place in the near future, so it's like 50 years plus 10 years or something.
Because he does age, just very slowly.
Yeah, you'd think so, but it's
his powers kicked in.
He gets blown up by a nuclear bomb and still heals back. So maybe he really is just immortal.
And his hair and his beard come back.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's in his
perfectly
genes.
Groomed.
It's in his genes.
You mean his Wranglers?
Yeah. All right, so let's start discussing some what ifs. What if Volume 2, Number 9? Where our common theme running throughout this is going to be about the sort of some X-Men origins. So this one asks, what if the X-Men died on their first mission? And as Professor X laments on the cover, the X-Men are dead, and I killed them!
He's very distraught.
Indeed. But first of all, Beast is on the cover pushing his wheelchair, so we know that something's up with this title, because on the cover it also shows people who aren't in the original X-Men, so it's not clearly their first mission.
Sunfire?
Yep, my man Sunfire Havoc with his onion ring helmet, which, you know, I just remember when I was a kid, I didn't really know how to pronounce words sometimes, so I pronounced Havoc's name Havok, called him Havok. But
This is a different set of X-Men.
yeah. So the first page clears it up. It says, what if the new X-Men died on their first mission? The all-new, all-different X-Men from Giant Size X-Men #1. We start on Moira McTaggart receiving a letter to go see Professor X with some girl. They're greeted by Hank McCoy, who's human. And but after a while, he takes off a latex mask to reveal his traditional blue fur beastie self.
What?
To what end, I ask?
Yeah,
and also,
how long did it take him to do that?
Yeah, why does he have his own visage as to make a mask out of? Second of all, wouldn't it be
Kelsey Grammer mask?
Exactly. It's got to be tight in there because he usually has his, all of his fur, pointy ears. Weird. Despite the fact that Moira says he's gray, he's actually blue. He's so blue. She's like, "Oh my God, you're gray!" But
this isn't her first time. This obviously isn't her first time around mutants. So why is he, especially at the mansion? Is Beast there at the mansion?
Yeah.
And his hands aren't covered.
So
he's got blue furry hands.
No, he's got
right.
he has latex hand gloves.
Latex full bodysuit.
Exactly. So
Beast is into that kind of thing. Right?
Yeah, there's a wordy intro of the X-Men, and they're how the all new, all different X-Men came to be. Your team of X-Men sort of expanded to include Havoc and Polaris, and they got captured on the living island of Krakoa. Beast brings up that he was on the Avengers at the time because they're more acceptable, which brings back my the whole superpowered thing. Oh, Vision, crime-fighting robot? Yes. Mutant? Burn them to death.
Yes. Burn it with fire.
Exactly. So then there's more wordy recap of the forming the all-new, all-different X-Men with Nightcrawler, Sunfire, Storm, Wolverine, and my man Banshee. Banshee was... Him coming on the theme was tacked on at the very end. Oh yeah, we got Banshee too. Because he's quite lame.
Yeah. You don't need a full explanation.
Yeah, he's Irish.
He just yells. Yeah.
And Banshee, the mythical Banshee is a woman, so he's got that going for him.
And what is his... And you have a daughter, Siren. She was born with the exact same powers?
No, just you wait. He's might be coming up.
Siren?
Yes. The all-new, all-different X-Men go to Krakoa. And in this reality, they all get hurled into space along with it, so everybody dies. Because I guess...
just decides to go to space?
No, I think Polaris...
Great.
Yeah, uses...
Great job.
Yeah, she hurls it into space. And
she did it?
Yeah, she takes everyone with it. In
she
the end...
give anybody any time to get off of it.
Yeah. In the end, his being Professor X, his youthful mutants could only defeat their foe by using electromagnetic means to negate the power of gravity itself in the immediate area for a few precious seconds. But even as the screaming island was heard upward like a ping pong ball hoisted by a water spout, the X-Men somehow failed to get clear in time.
Very specific analogy.
They hurtled skyward along with it, and everybody died.
Yeah. All right.
But
some of those guys can fly.
Don't worry about it. Well, think about it, how big this island is, and you got to fly faster than the island being hurled into space.
All right. Everybody's dead.
Yeah. So even if they tried to fly along, they'd be like caught by it and smacked against the ground and pushed into space.
Where did this electromagnetic stuff come? Good Lord.
Yeah. So
twists and turns.
Let's get down to the action of the comic book. Count Nefaria busts out with his Animan.
Who?
They're I don't know, animal men.
Animorphs?
Yes, exactly. He decides to ransom Earth to Beast, who apparently has been elected Pope of Earth or something. I don't know why he's telling just Beast, but do it. Oh, you just call in the Avengers, you say, because Beast is an Avenger? No, they're out in space. Well, I don't know why they didn't save the X-Men while they're out in space, but don't worry about that.
Why isn't Beast with them?
Well, he's got to go help out Professor X because all of his students died, so he needs a friend.
Oh.
Beast calls upon some leftover mutants to form some new X-Men. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, who are apparently the hottest superhero properties on the planet, given their inclusion in 2 movies.
How does that happen?
Because
that I also don't understand.
It's like
they're owned by 2 separate studios, so we'll have 2 separate sets of actors.
Why does anybody care? Like, I get you have your fans and stuff, but it's like,
They don't have fans.
If I were, like, Marvel, I'd be like, there are plenty of other Avengers. So, in addition, we also have Namorita, giving her some props.
Oh, Namorita. That's that's a good name. We need a female version of Namor. What can we call her?
Exactly. So Namor's cousin or niece or
Namorella?
Yeah. Namora. When Beast is calling upon Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, Scarlet Witch is hanging out with Vision, and I'm not sure why Vision doesn't go. She says, "Frankly, darling, I'm not sure that's going to be possible," to which Vision replies, ? And don't worry about why they can't go, because he's not mutant. He doesn't get to play. It's just reverse bigotry. Vision is swimming in some swim trunks, which is just bizarre. And our final addition to this new... Well, not final, I guess. There's 2 more. We have Siren, who's Banshee's daughter? Niece, maybe?
I think it's his daughter.
Yeah. A Banshee's already female, as I alluded to earlier, so why doesn't she just keep the name Banshee? I digress.
Banshee too.
Exactly. Banshee, but with 1 E, so it's like a she.
Banshee Ida.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do if you make a female version of a superhero. Just add Ida.
Yeah.
Or Ella. Banshee Ella.
Exactly.
Banshee.
And then they call upon Thunderfoot's brother, or Warpath, or the Native American fella in the all-new, all-different X-Men. His brother, who also becomes a superhero in the comic books, too. He gets tacked on as well.
Did they mail him a letter? Oh, no, I guess he's still got in contact by Cerebro, but he's holding an envelope in one of these panels.
Yeah, he got a letter from Professor X telling him that his brother died. Professor X is a heartless jerk.
But then in the next frame, Beast is contacting him via Cerebro, so why couldn't Professor X couldn't call him on the phone? Or go straight Cerebro and say, "Hey, by the way, your brother died." Nope. Handwritten letter delivered to the middle of the desert.
He has their address. I digress. So these all new, all crappy X-Men battle the Animan, including Gort or Gaunt or something. He's Monkey Man.
Oh, Gort.
Gort. Yes.
Will twist your puny neck like chicken.
Yes. Gort will call you all dead. Which is, that's a catchphrase if I ever heard one. There's a Catmandu. He's a cat man, dude. Frogface, who looks like a Battletoad. What were the Battletoads' names? Belch and Fart or Puke and
Zits
and Pimples
and Rash.
Gross. And a psychic red dragonfly lady who talks with a snake voice. So, villain. You don't hear good guys talking with a snake voice.
That's true.
You probably haven't read Harry Potter, but partial tone.
I've seen the movies.
No. So Professor X, the first cut is the deepest, and he doesn't want to lose more X-Men, so he stresses out and is just like, "Oh my God, they're battling people, they're all gonna die." He's like an overprotective mom. So the girl with Moira this whole time has been Wolfsbane. Oh man. From the New Mutants. Yeah. So she joins the all-star lineup of female, just scrap heap X-Men. And they form the new X-Men, minus Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, because they have to go join the Avengers or something. And they're too good for the team, because you have Namorita, Siren.
You don't need us anymore.
Yeah, then Wolfsbane, and who's a child, by the way. She's like 12 years old. Come on! But apparently that doesn't make Professor X tweak out. Yeah, and so they end, as some of these what-ifs do, saying, "We're forming a new team, and we're going to go fight the world." And the Watcher drops a bomb, a nice joke, at the formation of these new X-Men. They say, "It seems there will always be X-Men, and X-Factor, and New Mutants, and Excalibur, and ... Like, even back then, they knew, hey, you know what you need? More X-Teams. All in all, this one isn't bad, but it's super wordy at the beginning, and ultimately...
And at the end, there's a lot of words there, too.
Exactly. Your end result is a very crappy X-Team, so... Woo!
Yeah, what is the final... that final team they got
Let's see. We got Warpath or Thunderpath or Warfoot or something. Namorita, Siren,
11-year-old Wolfsbane.
and Beast. Beast is your heroic leader. Crummy.
So Beast is the only one that is still alive.
Yeah.
From the Flying Island.
Well, he wasn't on the Flying Island. He was with the Avengers.
Yes.
But then wasn't with the Avengers after. But yeah, so, they show up, they be X-Men, and then they stop being X-Men. So our next issue. What if Volume 2, number 23? What if the all-new, all-different X-Men had never existed? So it's, playing on the same events, but in a different iteration. So first things first, the cover is a nod to your giant-size X-Men number 1s, which I also have in a giant-size X-Mug, which was a very nice Christmas gift. And actually, it's a theme that seems to have popped up in all of this, which I don't go out of my way to look at, but it's sort of it's similar to other covers that I've reviewed, in that it's sort of plain white background and then some red and blue popping against it. Maybe it's a 70s thing, maybe it's a coincidence. Either way, the story in this one, instead of everybody dying on Krakoa, the living island, nobody dies. Hooray! So
The end.
Yeah. The island gets hurled into space, and that's the end of that. Although I think it would have been cool if, remember Magneto had Asteroid M?
Yes.
It should have been Living Asteroid M. And then he flies down and...
So he can pilot this giant monster island.
Yes. Because as we all know, this thing is powered by magnets.
Yes.
Clearly.
Well,
Electromagnetic.
maybe that one's coming.
Reverse the effect of gravity, hurled into space.
Mm-hmm.
But,
that one's coming.
yeah. So, in this, they don't need to recruit new X-Men to save the old X-Men. So, we end up with their first battle being against Eric the Red from the Shi'ar guys. And with them, the Nightcrawler and Proudstar, who apparently is another iteration of Thunderfoot or Thunderbolt. The Native American guy. Except here he's in his villainous orange and red attire. Or possibly brown. It might be suede.
Or leather.
Yeah. Suede's a type of leather. Come on.
All right.
Yeah. But, yeah, Havoc's floating around there, and that brings up an interesting question. What does Havoc do? He, makes energy, but, in comic books, what is this energy? It's, white. It has concussive force. Sometimes it'll disintegrate stuff. Sometimes it won't. It's energy.
I don't know.
Because, I can turn potential energy into kinetic energy by punching you.
Maybe it's just... Is it the same thing that Cyclops is? It's just white, and it comes out of his chest.
Okay.
So he doesn't have to wear glasses on his chest.
So they fight some Eric the Red, and they Nightcrawler gets captured, but they don't know he teleports, so he bamfs right out of there and swears vengeance on them all.
So he let them capture it, essentially?
I guess. Well, maybe he got caught, and he's just like, all right, well, I'm going to wait to make my move to escape so they don't just keep trying to get me.
Just to really mess with him.
Yeah. And then they also froze Proudstar in a giant block of ice. I'm not sure. I don't think it killed him, but...
Well, that wouldn't kill you.
It would suffocate you pretty quickly.
David Blaine did it.
Oh, okay.
For days.
That's true. And then he drove a knife through his hand and ate thumbtacks and stuff. After Nightcrawler escapes and swears vengeance on them all, Angel quips, "What is that guy smoking?" Zing.
To who?
I don't know.
About who?
The X-Men. About
Proudstar?
No, about Nightcrawler. What is he smoking, huh? Of course, this is 1991 or whatever, so that joke isn't completely played out. It's still
That's fresh.
Yeah.
That's hot and fresh.
That's what I'm saying. Just like the John Stockton basketball card advertised on the next page.
Muggsy Bogues is up there, too.
There he is. My man, Dominique Wilkins.
This is Space Jam time.
I'm saying. After Nightcrawler swears vengeance on them all, they take Proudstar and I think Eric the Red to Muir Island. Back to my girl, Moira McTaggart. There's a reference to Mutant X, which I think in this case turns out to be Proteus, which is Moira McTaggart's son. It's also the name of a series set in yet another alternate reality with Havoc making the leap into another alternate reality with some alternate X-Men, which I might do a quick review of in the future because it's, that alternate reality thing it's like a what if in its own right. So they're talking to Eric the Red.
What does he do?
He reads it stuff. I think they want to know what his mission is. Yeah. My body will tell you nothing of my origin or my mission. You want to know who I am, X-Men? You'll die wondering. And he repeats, you'll die wondering. In 2 pages you have Nightcrawler swearing vengeance on them all, and then Eric the Red cackling, you'll die wondering. You'll never get it from his body. Gross.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. So after they leave Eric the Red at this monster island or whatever, a Muir Island, they go up to space because that's what X-Men do. They fight some Sentinels because that's what X-Men do. And on re-entry into space, Jean Grey was gonna read the mind of an astronaut and pilot a plane back to Earth, but then Polaris yells, "Will you two shut up?" while Cyclops and Jean Grey are arguing about that, and she guides it with her magnetic force because apparently, her magnetic powers are just
works on islands and spaceships.
Yes, and in this because this happens, the Jean Grey never gets the Phoenix Force in the first place, so there's another deviation from the standard path. After that all happens, Professor X gets contacted by some Shi'ar, a girl Lalandra. I never really liked the Shi'ar space stuff, mostly because they have weird hair.
It was a side mohawk.
Yeah, that has notches in it. Plus, I like my superheroes on Earth fighting bad guys. All this space stuff, not really my jam.
Space Jam.
Exactly. But oh man, when I turn the page, what do I see? The Silver Surfer High Score Contest advertisement, where if you play the Silver Surfer NES game, you can win a customized Silver Surfer jet ski.
So get on that.
The game notoriously hard according to the internets. I've never played it, don't care. Why would anyone make a Silver Surfer game in the first place?
That's a very good question.
But the graphic shows a cartoon Silver Surfer riding a jet ski with a kid having a blast riding behind him. It's amazing. Or you can win 1,000 Silver Surfer watches. Sounds like a terrible second prize.
Kid is not even hanging on.
Oh no, he's got his arm around Silver Surfer's belly. It's, But it looks like his flotation vest and swim trunks are all like one piece. He's wearing
They're in space.
a flotation.
It will help you float in space.
Exactly. Lalandra teleports them.
Well, we're back talking to the comic now. We're no longer talking about the Silver Surfer ad.
Yeah, but they're still in space because we're all in space.
It could have been confusing because you go straight from Silver Surfer and this kid, and now they're back doing this.
Yeah, they're back in space. Lalandra teleports them to. The big one is Mod. No, I don't know. There's a bunch of alien words. The Macrine crystal, the gateway to the end of all that is. And there it is. Lalandra shows up, tells them that the Phoenix Force is still out there, and is living inside a crystal.
Did the Phoenix Force ever bother anybody before it inhabited Jean Grey?
Well, according to this, it does. It comes up every once in a while and destroys stuff, but you never know when that happened last. Is it 1,000,000 years, 1,000 years, 10 years? And actually, we're getting ahead of this because they get transported into space, fight the Starjammers, then fight with the Starjammers.
Is Chode there?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
there he is.
My big boy Chode, and they're fighting space robots, and Cyclops is hanging out with his dad even though he doesn't know it, and they destroy a space crystal, as X-Men are prone to do, and then they come back, and Iceman is pumped. Yes, 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 and all this. The X-Men proceed to start whooping butt, taking on all comers because the crux of this story is because the X-Men didn't have to start fresh with all new, all different. They're a well-oiled fighting machine, so they're fighting robots.
Sasquatch there?
Yeah, they meet up with the Alpha Flight, but Wolverine stays with Alpha Flight.
What?
Exactly. So life is good as the X-Men, and then Scott and Jean are gonna get married. But oh man, Mastermind starts messing with their brains and upsets Jean. Apparently Jean's getting a psychic attack, but as Cyclops asks, who could do such a thing? After some more whooping butt by X-Men, they find Mastermind, and they're about to fight the Hellfire Club. But then Lalandra...
Where do all these people keep coming from?
It's a montage.
Starjammers, and then Alpha Flight comes, and now the Hellfire Club is here.
It's a montage to show that, this universe's X-Men are whooping butt because they're a well-oiled machine.
All right.
But as they're about to fight the Hellfire Club...
Training montage.
Exactly. Lilandra just teleports them away because, as I was alluding to earlier, she was talking about the Phoenix Force is back and living in the sun. Which brings up an interesting point. I always wondered, what is the Phoenix Force? It says, like, once again, like back to Havoc's energy. Raw, destructive force. Is it fire? Is it psychic force? Is he literally burning things? Or is it like, yeah, just making stuff blow up?
I don't think it's literally burning stuff by itself, is it? Because then it would be hard for it to inhabit somebody.
Well, it would
So
not
it
the
has to be
person it's
some kind
inhabiting.
of psychic
All right.
entity.
There it is.
There.
Yeah, and your issue is here because the Phoenix Force never possessed Jean Grey. It's living in the sun and going to blow it up. But someone needs to take on the Phoenix Force unto themselves to be destroyed. And as they say, it won't necessarily destroy the Phoenix Force, but it'll kick the can down the road a little bit so that it can go away for a while until it inevitably pops up again. So Cyclops says, I'll do it. And Angel and Beast and Iceman are all like, whoa, 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 what? So Cyclops is going to be the hero. But oh my god, he gets knocked out before he can do it. And you think, oh my god, somebody's going to steal the Phoenix Force and become a raw destructive energy entity and destroy the universe. And oh my god, it was Nightcrawler all along.
What?
He swore vengeance on them all. Now, so it's alluded to the fact that he was watching them the entire time, but I'm not quite sure, because, he can teleport and he melds into shadows because he's a darkness. But I'm not quite sure how he got to this space place, unless he was because Lilandra teleported them away all at once, so I'm not quite sure. Just fudging that fact, Nightcrawler says he'll be a hero and take the Phoenix Force and get destroyed because he saw the X-Men were nice people. Okay. So he flies
You
his...
guys are nice guys.
I'll do it.
I'll take one for the team.
Yeah. So he flies his spaceship into the sun, apparently.
What if it doesn't work?
I don't know. I don't know how he's like, oh, I'm gonna take it
What's
because
plan B?
the Phoenix Force was always like they chose somebody or came at you.
Force yourself upon the Phoenix.
Yeah, and he mutters some German, Unglaublich or Unglaublich.
We're doing this.
Yeah, exactly. As he flies into the sun, and I'm not quite sure how if they really explain how he gets the Phoenix Force and destroyed, but it's just a big flash of light, and Nightcrawler saves the universe.
What?
Yeah. So all in all, I'd say
The end.
it's a pretty good story. It's less wordy than the other one. We're moving along. We're having plenty of action. It gets the point across. But I'll say the twist ending doesn't make any sense.
So there's no other. What if Nightcrawler had the Phoenix Force in it?
No, but I mean, if you wait long enough, they'll pencil it in because I had that What If Avengers versus X-Men
that
miniseries.
Seems like it would be a good book.
Yeah, because
Nightcrawler,
you're like,
the Phoenix Force?
yeah, he'll just teleport away.
And
Just
fire everywhere.
exactly, it's hellfire and brimstone.
That one's kind of like the Avengers versus X-Men, the new series.
Yeah, well,
The Phoenix Force takes over multiple people.
yeah, the What If I had it possessed 5 different people for a panel each, and it got to be
No, it was
kind
the
of cheesy.
The Avengers versus X-Men, the 12 part thing that I had.
Yeah, it happens there too. But I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Well, that's what it does in the
yeah,
Cyclops,
but
Emma Frost,
yeah, it
Namor.
yeah, it splits into the 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, in this one, it possesses 4 Avengers for a second, and then some other people for a little bit each.
Oh.
It's sort of like what every issue is. So our final issue is another what if about the genesis of the X-Men. It's what if Magneto and Professor X had formed the X-Men together. And this is a one-shot that they started putting out after the second regular series ended. And so they've released waves of them every now and then, including the aforementioned Avengers vs. X-Men last year. And this year they got an Age of Ultron one coming up, so more to come on that. I'll actually review that hot and fresh out the kitchen. It'll actually be relevant, not from something published 23 years ago.
How old is this one? This one looks new.
Yeah, well, it's super glossy.
Oh, well, it's got a dodgeball ad in it, so it's not too old.
2005.
Yeah.
The post-gloss era.
Right.
Yeah, because, once comics turn glossy, now suddenly, everything's in, good to very good condition, because it's got the gloss. This, along with a lot of the what-if one-shots, aren't necessarily based on, one particular event going different, but sometimes they're just alternate universe storylines, and they'll, time shift stuff, either for, a period piece. We've got, 20s gangster Wolverine and Daredevil in Japan. And in this case, they just sort of time shift stuff to fudge the storylines to make it work. We start off with the Watcher telling us, recapping the X-Men, Professor X, Magneto, friends but enemies. In this alternate reality, Professor X and Magneto stay on the same page. Magneto doesn't turn evil. I think he squashes Baron von Strucker. And we get a splash page with some newspaper headlines to explain what's different in this reality. And basically, because the X-Men aren't fighting Magneto, and Magneto's not there to give mutants a bad name in the beginning, the X-Men are standing on top of the world, as Van Halen might put it. Middle East peace, thank you, mutants. Cold War over, thank you, Colossus. Aurora Monroe elected president of Kenya.
What?
Baron von Strucker guilty, so I guess he wasn't squished, just kind of squished.
Figuratively.
Yes. Because they're not fighting each other, the X-Men can just whoop butt more readily.
And get elected president.
Apparently.
Kenya.
Yeah. I don't know if that helps the massive inflation, or if that's Zimbabwe, where a loaf of bread costs a bajillion of their currency.
What are her credentials?
She makes it rain.
Oh, that's enough.
Exactly. So we start with Kitty Pryde with blue hair. See, this is one of those things where
the alternate reality Kitty Pryde.
Exactly.
That's how you can tell.
She they shift time stuff, so she's there sort of as a youngin at the beginning of the X-Men, and it's the modern time, so she's talking about terabytes of data, and she likes to make machines, and she starts phasing around to go see Professor X playing basketball, because in this reality Professor X is jacked, stacked, and dunking on fools. He does a fist pump after said dunk. And yeah, he's sexy Professor X. Professor Sex.
Sexy eggs.
So Kitty Pryde is phasing through the walls, forgets to phase her clothes with her.
I was just going to say.
So we got some wacky nude jokes.
How do you... It seems like something that you would have had down pat by now. It doesn't seem like something you'd forget.
Well, she's all...
Bloops?
Yeah. Also, I'm not quite sure if this blue hair is actually a wig. Because she's phasing out, the wig seems to stay there, but then also so does her pet dragon Lockheed.
So she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah. Jean Grey, so this is, again, sort of the time-shifted reality stuff. In this reality, Jean Grey is just showing up to Professor X's school for gifted youngsters, and human Hank McCoy's there. It's not a rubber mask this time.
A latex suit on this time.
Yeah, no. I think he might be in denial about being a mutant, though. I'm not sure if he has giant hands in this reality. But yeah, so Jean Grey shows up, and she's comatose, and Kitty Pryde's there, but she's blonde now. So I think she might be one of those punk girls that changes their hair color every 5 seconds.
It must have been a wig.
Yeah. And then...
And she has her clothes on this then, too.
Yeah. And Colossus is there, too. So, yeah, like I said, we have different people showing up at different times just to sort of fudge it all together, the time-shifted reality. Then we proceed to Wolverine and Mystique jacking a truck up, and apparently they're on the X-Men too, and they stop these trucks for some reason, and stuff gets blown up. But then, as we see, streaks of light coming from a convoy of these tractor-trailer trucks. That'll pay off later. We proceed to have explained why Jean's in a coma. Hit-and-run accident with her best friend, Annie Richardson. Got that Pet Cemetery vibe. And Kitty Pryde is showing Colossus and not Beast around the facility, including the danger room. They come upon some red and purple mutant named Sage. Have you heard of her before?
I have not.
All right, I'm out of the loop. Yeah, we see she has some X-ray specs or something that see that
Macho Man glasses.
Macho Man Randy Savage glasses that can see that Dr. Hank McCoy could become a blue mutant.
Huh?
I don't know. Somehow that's his potential. But he's like gray at other times, and as we see,
It seems like a terrible power.
his bestiality is is variable because he can go from looking like a cat to being gray to being sort of monkey-like. Yeah, or Kelsey Grammer-like. In the Days of Futures Past movie, he's going to be skinny. So then Magneto finally shows up, which also brings up the point about this. In this story that has Magneto on the cover, or at least on the title, he's not in this comic book a lot. Him and, I guess he's a silent partner in the X-Men. Him and Professor X talk about the consequences of resuscitating Jean Grey from her coma. Upset that balance, Charles. Who knows what will happen? Phoenix. That's what always happens.
Yes.
And then they're talking, then boom! Oh my god, Sentinels show up.
Why are they there?
Because Sentinels. I think earlier Professor X was talking with Dr. Hank McCoy, somebody, about Bolivar Trask. And so we
Peter
got
Dinklage?
Yeah, exactly. Sentinels show up. Professor X tries to protect Jean Grey as the Sentinels attack.
So why are if this world is more tolerant to mutants, why are
Well,
the
because some
Sentinels-
people always just want to burn the muties, you know? It might not be the mass populace, but there's still going to be a contingent. So Kitty Pryde brings Colossus along, and he Colossuses out and starts ripping apart Sentinels. I think, yeah, Kitty Pryde has a satchel full of grenades that she is...
Huh.
So, you know.
Of course.
Yeah,
Just in case.
that seems like a lot of explosives to just be carrying
and-
around in a satchel.
Yeah, and where did these grenades come from? In this universe, it doesn't seem like they get attacked very often, so why would they have just satchels of grenades?
I don't know, because I don't see her have the satchel prior to using it, so, you know...
It was inside her.
She phased into her belly.
Yes.
Yeah.
it's been
And
there
why
the
she
whole
has, like, 6 or 8 grenades, like, that's just risky. Dr. McCoy, Not Beast, and Sage head up to the grassy knoll to start sniping on Sentinels. Zam, 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 as the sound effects put it. And then Wolverine and Mystique come rambling down in one of the tractor-trailer trucks they jacked. Also start fighting Sentinels.
Oh, and then you forgot that sound effect.
Oh, squeak! I don't know if that's the Sentinel flatlining or something. Do Sentinels just dream of electric sheep?
Metal on metal.
But he's ripping through it. He's not dragging it. It's
Well,
not.
I don't. It's nails on a chalkboard.
Oh, yeah.
Slowly dragging. his
Actually, yeah.
claws across.
I glossed over this. Colossus is new to the compound, and he's just met Wolverine. But within one panel of meeting each other,
Oh, they're doing their old throw me.
fastball special. Fastball special, big guy. Throw me as hard as you can. Gay. But yeah, so like that's what pops into your mind, Wolverine. Hey, you should throw me.
Of course.
If anything,
and then squeak.
yeah, calamity ensues, and this causes Jean Grey to get stressed out and start phoenixing.
Why? Why?
Because there's battles
Phoenix
and
always
stuff.
just creeping around.
Apparently, yeah. In this reality, it might not be a destructive space force, but something that's in Jean Grey the whole time, like in the movies where the Phoenix was just her bad personality that made her disintegrate Professor X.
Right.
Hey, you're looking at me wrong. Powder. Phoenix is out and blows up a bunch of Sentinels. They are talking about it afterwards. I guess deciding to form said X-Men. Kitty Pryde has green hair now, new wig. And in one page, the second to last page, they have Cyclops and Havoc and Sabretooth talking about how they're the Marauders in this universe. May or may not be working with the Hellfire Club, and that actually looks way more interesting than the Sentinel stuff, and kind of makes you wish it was like a two-parter, because I'd be more interested in seeing that. You know, Cyclops has got a creepy design, a little more interesting.
It's like a bulletproof vest, and that's it.
Who needs your arms? On the last page, they decide to form the X-Men because, you know, as I've alluded to in the previous issue we just talked about, a lot of times the end result of some of these what ifs is, yeah, we're gonna form a team, we're gonna go out there, ...
So if they're just now forming the X-Men, why did they have costumes?
Well, apparently there's a time jump after what's taking place at the top of the page and the bottom, because like Phoenix has a nice outfit. They all have wacky outfits.
Yeah.
Why, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
And
why does Wolverine have his blue and yellow thing? He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would get something like that made to just wear around.
Yeah, well, I don't know. And Beast is blue, even though there's like very little explanation given as to why. I guess because they alluded to it before with Sage's glasses, but like, why is he signing up to be a blue hairy freak?
Yeah.
He was a very smart doctor before.
Oh, and Kitty Pryde's got pink hair now.
Yeah. They form a new team, and as it says at the very bottom, the end, ... or the beginning? Looking at this as a whole, it's sort of boring because they show up, fight some Sentinels, be X-Men. It's not very dynamic, and Magneto's not even in the comic book for being on the page and in the title of the thing. Like I said, I would be more interested in them fighting the evil Cyclops and Havoc and Sabretooth than fighting some generic Sentinels. But overall, could be worse, but it could be better.
It can always be worse.
So that is 3 issues of dealing with the variations on the genesis of the X-Men. Do you have any closing thoughts about X-Men?
I do not.
Well, let's end it on this. Who would be your X-Men dream team?
My X-Men dream team.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have a minimum number? Maximum number?
I'd say 5.
5. We start with my 2 favorites,
Mm-hmm.
Gambit and Nightcrawler.
Mm-hmm.
Throw Wolverine in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, you gotta move the issues, son. You know,
Yeah.
that he gets sales.
And I do like Colossus a lot as well.
Uh-huh.
What's that, 4?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can throw in a woman. Storm passes out too much.
Uh-huh.
Phoenix is too unpredictable.
She's a little bit of everything all rolled into one.
But who else?
Kitty Pryde.
Is that all she can do? Is just
Yeah, she's like a female human vision.
the Jubilee?
Yeah, well, yeah, Dazzler. Or you could just have it be a sausage fest.
Yeah.
Professor Sex.
So that and Magneto, if he's in this universe,
He's a good one.
yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
So throw him in there too.
Well, Magneto sometimes allies with the X-Men, especially in
In
more
those new
recent
ones,
times.
yeah, the
'cause he's
Avengers
like-
versus X-Men.
Because he's like mutants, us, humans, them.
yeah,
So yeah, that sort of falls in line with mine would be Wolverine and Magneto, because Magneto could be a strong leader and do the fastball special with Wolverine. Just,
Easily.
Just launch him.
that's what he does in the Avengers versus X-Men. He does that to Colossus through the Avengers helicarrier. He just keeps blasting him through the ship multiple times.
Well, what he needs to
destroys
do
the ship with Colossus
is
as
throw-
a projectile.
He needs to throw Colossus, who's throwing Wolverine. Let's see. I was going to say Nightcrawler, because he's one of my favorites. I'll go with Phoenix, because, heck, why not? She can fly. She's got the psychic powers. Raw distrucity. Raw energy. So, let's see. That's 3. Throw on...
No, that's 4.
Well, yeah, I'll go. I'll stick with Nightcrawler. And, Long Shot. No. Cable. No. I don't know. I like your team too. I'll just piggyback on yours. You took all the good ones. Strong guy, multiple man.
Of course, strong guy.
Yes.
It's curly cute.
Signing off, remember to follow me on Twitter at The Slim James, the website theslimjames.com, youtube.com/theslimjames. The What If podcast is on iTunes, Stitcher, and the videos are on Vimeo too. So go out there and find us. And remember, don't spend the rest of your life asking, what if?